Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Retro Warriors episode 553. Woo! As always, I'm your host, Justin Baker, and as always, I'm joined by viable human Chris Saturn.
Hi, Justin.
Hi, Saturn.
It's so good to hear from you.
You too. We have a small amount of housekeeping.
No, we don't. It's fine. Everything's fine this week. Nothing happened. Anyway, moving on.
A lot of people on the Patreon probably saw it. People in Discord already know about it. We are leaving Discord, which if you literally only listen to the show and you don't engage with any of our community stuff, it doesn't affect you at all. Nothing changes. Everything's the same. The MP3 still comes out every week. You get an hour of us talking about video games. Nothing's changing there.
Presumably video games.
Sometimes video games.
Yeah.
But we are currently on the hunt for a new home that is not Discord. I'm doing my very, very best to find that place and get us there as a community before all their shit they announced happening next month happens.
So you can find us on Usenet at alt.podcast.retrowarriors.
I will say this, because we had someone else asking a couple weeks ago for a Discord link, and people asking for links to stuff. In the show description is the link to our link tree. That is always up to date. And like right now, the Discord's grayed out on it. When we have a place to go, that is where it will be. If you ever want to know how to reach us, where we are, what's going on, the link tree has links to our active stuff. It's in the description of at least 300 shows. Just literally go to the notes and click on it, or however you want to do it. But yeah, so just
by the way, I don't think that's a valid Usenet server. So
yeah, don't go. Don't log on to Usenet there. So I just wanted to say that. So we are leaving Discord. If you're in our Discord and this is the first you're hearing of this, then there you go. I don't know how you missed it, but there you go.
Yeah. Well, maybe they haven't logged in a while.
There you go. We did have someone, they were logged out from like Monday to Wednesday, and they logged in. They were like, what the fuck happened? We're like,
came into the place on fire.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We're trying to find something that we can own and be in charge of and be the masters of our own destiny. And it's a shitload of work.
Not at the whims of some corporate
dumb
IPO.
Corporate. So again, if you literally just listen to the show, nothing changes. If you do ever want to engage with our community, hit the link in the show description. Wherever that community is, we will have a link to it there, and you can come hang out with us.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if I say it very much, but we have an email, retrowarriorspodcast@gmail.com. You can always email us. If you want to talk to us like an old...
Yeah, and we'll answer that long before we'll answer Facebook, because we don't control the Facebook anymore.
Oh, no,
that's
specifically, the Facebook is derelict. It's defunct.
Yeah.
I was the only admin, and I closed down my Facebook account entirely, and I thought it would shut down the pages I started, and it did not.
Yeah, so it just lives there.
Yeah, so it's a derelict ship. So, yeah. Active stuff is our link tree. If it's not on the link tree, it's not active. So anyway, if you're looking to see where we are, that's the place to check. Because I do keep that up to date. Anyway, also Guy's going to be here for the after party at the end of this show, so stay tuned for that. And I got to put it in the notes down here at the bottom where I'm gonna.
Yeah, so that you remember before
I'm gonna forget.
The Patreon.
There we go. Okay,
yeah.
Great. We'll do it live. This is
perfect.
This is great.
This is how we do notes. Yeah.
This is perfect. Also. Saturn has been on overtime, and your mom has been sick, and I've been dealing with all this Discord shit, so we really have been both super duper busy. I mean, you've been legitimately busy with real stuff, and I mean,
you were also busy.
I've been
with actual
fake
things.
busy with dumb imaginary internet things.
No, I had volunteered for overtime at work some time ago because one of my coworkers was having a nervous breakdown. And so I'd been covering for her, and then the other guy who works with her during the week that I was working with when I was covering for her, his mother died last week.
Oh no, that's awful.
And so he's out on bereavement all this week.
Yeah.
So I was also covering for him, and then at the beginning of my week, my mom went to the hospital, and I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And so I've just been juggling work and hospital back and forth. But the person who had the nervous breakdown came back this week, so at least there has been another person there, but she has been gone for so long that everything has changed, and she has no idea how anything works anymore. Yeah. So I've basically been reteaching her everything.
Yeah.
So,
So we've
Good times.
It's been a busy week. And just to have said it on the actual show, because I think we only said it on the pre-show. Your mom's doing good. She's home, so.
She's out of the hospital now.
I realized we said that on the pre-show, and then on the show we're like, Saturn's mom was sick. So just so everybody knows.
Yeah, she's back at home listening to my nephew sing Taylor Swift to her. So
perfect. Getting into the actual show, finally, I made a mistake. I fucked up.
Yes,
and
you did.
I started playing Factorio.
Fortunately, you had all the free time for it.
And in like 2.5 days, I put in like 30 hours in Factorio.
Yeah, that sounds right.
An unhealthy amount of Factorio. And it was bad. I don't even know if I like it, but when I'm not playing it, I'm upset.
Yeah.
At everything that isn't Factorio. And when
every time I see pictures of it, I think that it's a thing I absolutely need in my life. And then when I go to purchase it, I'm like, do I have time for this?
A couple years ago, I played the demo, and I got through the demo, and I was like, this will take over my life. I cannot buy it.
Yeah.
And I saw that they had a Switch version, and I was like, how do you do Factorio on Switch? That's weird. And I was like, well, I'm kind of looking for a time-killing game to play in between my big games, something I have on, because I got the Switch 2, and, I want to have a little time-killing game on it. And Ballcross Pit, I've kind of, wringed all the juice out of. And so I picked it up, and that was a mistake because it's all I think about. I'll be laying in bed at night, just like, and if I reroute this over here, then I can do that, and then I can set up a military pack installation, and then I can like I'd be sitting at dinner with my family, and Courtney would be talking to me, and I would just be thinking about like fucking ore. It was bad. It's bad. It's good. Very good game.
Yeah.
But also I picked up the Etrian Odyssey HD Remaster Collection physically. PlayAsia had the Switch version on sale for like $35.
Nice.
And I have the game on Steam, but I wanted to have a physical copy, and there was not a North American physical copy, so it's my first non-US, non-North American Switch game.
Oh. I have so many.
I had not purchased a single one yet, and so that was my
one of the very first Switch games I ever bought was not North American.
Really?
Yeah, because I got I Am Setsuna, which did not come out physically here in the US, but it did in other regions.
So I got that. Been playing it on Switch, and it's Etrian Odyssey, which is a very good game. If you've not played it, you should. It's fun.
I do like that when you play a import on the Switch, and also on the PS5 and Xbox for that matter. When you put in the cartridge or disc, it'll install the local region version of it, which is nice.
Yeah.
If available, anyway. Sometimes they have them as separate SKUs, and then it won't. But for the most part, it'll do the local one.
Yeah. What have you been doing with your week? Working a little bit,
mostly working. So Dragon Quest VII came out.
Yes,
the reimagined, the remaster of the remaster of Dragon Quest VII.
I got my copy, but I know that if I take Trails of Cold Steel out of my PlayStation 5 before I finish it, it won't go back in. So I'm trying to save myself. So
I got the Xbox version, and I popped it in my Xbox. It's pretty solid so far. I'm barely past where the demo ended, to be honest. I'm a couple hours past that. The things that it is trimming are sometimes weird. It does have a couple of weird things with the music, which I also noticed with the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remaster. I'm guessing
about that.
Now that Sugiyama's dead, whoever is in charge of his music is not quite as stickler as he was. And so there's been some weird loops from time to time where the music is looping at strange places and not concluding like it did in prior ports.
You think they would? I mean, I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I feel like I could properly loop an MP3.
Right.
That part doesn't seem complicated. So that's weird.
It's just very strange. Other than that, it seems like a perfectly competent port. I'm a little sad about some of the things that are gone, but for the most part, it is fine, and I am generally happy with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah, I'm hoping to actually get a chance to play it some in the coming weeks. That'll be exciting.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Let's do some news.
Okay.
First up, Discord shit the bed. shit the
Which
bed
we've already
real
kind of
hard.
started talking about. But
Discord said that worldwide, like they have done in UK and Australian markets, they are rolling out face scanning verification, alternatively government ID verification for all users.
They offered a third option now.
Did they? What's the third one?
They will have AI scan all of your
right.
message history from all of the time you've been using Discord
Right.
and try to determine if you're an adult.
Right, but they say they don't look at the content of the messages, just your activity.
Oh, certainly not. Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's definitely what it is.
And if you do not comply, then you'll be locked into a quote-unquote teen-friendly experience.
Yeah.
A lot of people were very upset by this, and they were like, hey, as long as you're not in 18-plus servers, it shouldn't matter, because that's the only stuff that's not teen-friendly, but they didn't speak about servers that didn't opt into their community program they came out with a couple years ago, which is us.
So far, for users in UK and Australia, it doesn't affect anything. You don't have to go through with the scan, and you can continue to use servers like ours.
Yeah.
That said, I, and I believe you as well, just don't feel comfortable asking listeners of our show to go to a place that would even consider asking.
I don't want to be ethically or morally responsible or the reason why someone scanned their face for a chat app.
Yeah.
Even if it's just one person. I don't, you know what I mean? If you choose to do
Right.
that and you're okay with that personally, cool, that's your choice. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be the reason someone had to do that. Also,
Right.
I brought this up in the Discord, like, this isn't their single offense that caused us to leave. This is the final shitty thing in a long string of shitty things that we've been upset with Discord about over the years. And more than anything, I'm seizing the momentum to leave. Because right now a lot of people are upset, and I'm like, good, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
And really, everyone I know that uses Discord is also doing that. I'm sure millions of...
I wish I could say the same.
I'm sure millions of people are going to stay. I'm sure it'll continue being a very successful platform. But everyone that I know that really heavily, like personally in my life, uses it is like, yeah, we're getting out of here. This sucks.
A lot of my friends are still sticking with Discord.
Interesting.
Which is unfortunate.
My wife uses Discord a lot, and she's like, I hadn't even heard of it. I had no idea what was happening. And I was like, that's very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, I tried to explain to a couple of the friends that I have on. I don't really talk to anybody in other servers, but I'll talk to some people on private message.
Yeah,
because they are on other servers, and I tried to explain to them why I was wanting to go, and they were like, "Yeah, that sucks, but I'll probably stick around."
Yeah, well, see you later.
Right.
So yeah, my hope is that, because our concern with Discord, and we've been part of the problem, honestly, is that so much information gets siloed into Discord and hidden away into Discord servers and Discord channels, things that used to be accessible via websites and things that you didn't need to join special servers and find them. Used to be in forums, used to be on, just different places on the internet, wikis, things like that. Now things are not getting documented. There's been a lot of stuff I've explored, software projects and things in the last few years that online is just a Discord link. To their Discord.
And now they have Discord wikis, which I don't like that.
So it's hopefully it's a change for the better. Hopefully alternatives, viable drop-in alternatives start popping up. I think 6 months from now, things are going to look way different as far as Discord replacement options.
I mean, if you remember a year or so ago, the same thing happened to Reddit, and a lot of people just settled right back into Reddit and ignored it.
Yeah. So,
and even though there are some options, and Lemmy is the big one.
Yeah.
But it still just never got the traction, unfortunately. So I'm hoping this one actually gets some traction. But
at some point, we just have to decide to be the weirdos. I never went back to Reddit. I left my Facebook. I closed my Facebook. I'm on Lemmy and Matrix and other.
I never really used social media anyway, so closing my Facebook and my Twitter didn't really affect me in any way. But
the Facebook, honestly, I didn't. By the time I closed it, I didn't care. But, anyway, fans have ported Super Monkey Ball 1 and 2 to a browser. You play.
So now you can play it in a browser, I believe, even on mobile, which that's wild.
Can you play the booby level?
that wasn't on that one. That was on the Vita version.
Oh, okay. Well, till I can play Booby Monkey Ball on my browser. Call me.
Yeah,
then.
you'll have to wait till somebody gets an effective browser-based Vita emulator going.
Any day now.
Yeah.
Raspberry Pi is raising prices again due to memory costs. Not shocking, but upsetting.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but not shocking.
There's a lot of single board computers out there that are vying for Raspberry Pi's spot. And for enthusiasts, there's a lot of better choices. For people like me that only know enough to get in trouble, it's still kind of the go-to because of the level of support. But that might change in the future. Who knows?
Yeah.
Switch 2 has sold 15 million units at a faster pace than Switch 1. Also, the Switch 1 has outsold the Nintendo DS to become Nintendo's highest-selling console of all time.
Now, the Switch 2 selling so quickly, I think that's mostly just because of available stock.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, the Switch 1 was hard to find for a while there.
A good while, yeah.
Oh.
And so I keep hearing success stories about the sales of the Switch 2 and in real life, in non-internet, in meat space. I only know 2 people with one.
Including yourself?
No, including you.
Yeah, including me.
You and my brother, and that's it. And then when I get on,
There's 3 of us.
it's I don't know. It's weird. I feel
But
this.
then on our Discord server, like a whole bunch of people have them now.
That's true. We've got a good, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 people that have them in the.
I think it's more than that now.
Discord. Yeah. We'll have to come up with a user tag so we can, profile people more easily.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just scan your face, and then we'll know if you have a Switch 2 and send it to us. Please don't do that. Sony filed.
Scan your credit card number.
Yeah. Sony filed a patent to use generative AI to create podcasts voiced by PlayStation characters.
Why not just pay the
turf.
voice actors?
I don't know.
And have them do it.
What I want to know is who the fuck wants Crash Bandicoot to be their news podcast? You know what I mean?
They can't do that. It's a Microsoft character.
Oh yeah, because that that went with Activision, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, they
got?
were showing off Kratos doing a podcast.
Does Kratos have a noticeable voice?
Oh yeah.
Oh. I remember seeing his voice actor like at the Game Awards and stuff. I haven't played the new ones, so maybe that's maybe that's why I don't know. It's just weird. Why does anyone want this?
I don't know. I don't know what the demand for this is, but also, if you're going to do this, fucking pay the voice actors to do it. Don't just have a computer do it with their voices.
Yeah.
Just fucking pay somebody.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
Anbernic announced the RG Vita and RG Vita Pro.
And they look a lot like Vitas.
Yeah, they do. They look very Vita-esque.
Which means
I'm curious if they'll play Vita games.
Right? That'd be nice.
Emulate them. I
Yeah.
don't know. We'll see.
I don't know how advanced Vita emulation is, to be honest. I've not played with it.
I just have a Vita, so I just do
Right,
that.
yeah, same.
A movie is in
a Vita and a Vita TV.
A movie is in production based on Tecmo Bowl. Isn't that every football movie ever? I don't understand.
I believe it is every football movie ever.
What defining?
Maybe when Guy shows up, he can explain to us what would be different in a Tecmo
what
Bowl
defining
movie versus literally every
characteristic
football
Tecmo Bowl has to differentiate it from other. I can't even think of a football movie. Varsity Blues, is that a football movie?
Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights. There you go. Yeah, the two football movies.
What was the was
the one with the
there
kids?
An Adam Sandler one? Necessary Roughness?
What? Oh, that sounds like a porno title. He was in one. No, he was in one. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have Guy regale us later. I'm sure he's watched all of them.
Yeah.
Yoshi and Balloon Kid added to Game Boy Classics on Nintendo Switch Online. And fun fact, Balloon Kid is the greatest soundtrack ever made, in case anyone didn't know that.
It's really just a remixed version of the Balloon Fight soundtrack.
Which is also fantastic.
It's excellent, yes.
Also fantastic. Sega has begun targeting fan works on Etsy and other platforms. So that's fucking awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, that's concerning. Because, you remember like 2 years ago, we had made a comment about how Sega was like one of the most pro-consumer
Sega
game
and
companies out
Capcom
there.
were kind of cool with fan stuff.
And then immediately Sega shit the bed. We just need to stop commending any company ever, because anytime we do, they immediately just act like assholes.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating.
I'll never forget us doing a Blizzard episode and being like, Blizzard's so
Mhm.
great. And then literally the next week was, you
Yep.
have phones, don't you?
Yep.
Come on, man. We vouched for you,
gotta
you
stop doing this.
assholes.
Right.
Valve has officially delayed the pricing and a release date announcement for the new Steam hardware, which I'm really glad about because one, I just bought a Switch 2.
Right.
And two, I think it's the smart play to just delay it a little bit, let the market do what it's going to do, and figure out your supply chain. You know,
I think the longest yard was the Adam Sandler one I was thinking of.
was it?
My
Was
bad.
it? I don't know. I have no idea.
Anyway, sorry. I'm distracted now. Anyway,
So I think this is the right move to delay this
Yeah,
hardware.
I agree.
But we'll see what comes of it. You know. I don't know. I'm my worry.
I'm excited for the hardware.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the prices. I am also worried about just the situation as far as component sourcing
generally
right now.
And finally, LRG is releasing Square Enix's Fear Effect 2: Retro Helix on modern platforms later this month.
Yeah, with a physical release, I think available for pre-order now, maybe. But they're handling the digital release of it as well, which is strange.
Mm-hmm.
That Square Enix couldn't handle that themselves, but I guess they're just a little tiny fly-by-night company.
Yeah.
I got to lean on LRG for these things.
Which brings us to our topic at hand.
Yeah.
Which is,
speaking of fly-by-night companies,
which is, what if Sega won? What if they won?
Won what?
What if they won what if they beat Nintendo? What if they
won Takeshi's challenge?
And we picked this topic because at the time you were at overtime on work. And we were like, let's pick something light and breezy and speculative. We talk a lot about, we did an episode on the Nintendo PlayStation.
Yeah. We also did an episode on what if PlayStation had never happened.
Yes, and we like doing these speculative episodes, but they're scary to us because we can't research a bunch of shit ahead of time and have 9 pages of notes and know that we're going to have a whole show for it.
Yeah.
And so that's the fear this time is we got like no notes. It's just going to be an off-the-cuff conversation. So hopefully...
It's going to be us talking. Hopefully it's not just a complete scatterbrain thing.
I don't know. But I did want to talk about it because I feel like Sega had such a strange trajectory. And to be clear, like I said, give these synopsis. A world where people went to the theaters to watch a Sonic the Hedgehog movie instead of the Super Mario Brothers movie. We can dream.
Could you imagine?
I do want to give a little bit of scope, which is, first of all, we're going to be talking about the North American market. That's the market we're in. It is hard for us to speculate on non-North American markets. That's the one we follow. And when we say, what if Sega won, we mean, what if Sega won in North America? What would that look like?
I mean, it'll probably also apply to some stuff internationally as well. But but we're specifically focusing on here.
Yeah, North American markets. So, and that's kind of it. You and I both had
also everything we're going to discuss is a counterfactual, so you can't prove us wrong.
This is true.
On any of this.
This is true. None of this is real. I kind of wanted to go at this chronologically.
Okay.
And so I want to talk about some of their earlier systems. Yeah. And I know you've got a couple notes in here for them. And I do want to start back in the 8-bit era, and I want to talk about how Sega maybe could have turned around the 8-bit era in America and how that would have affected the market.
It's hard to say because the SG-1000, which was their original console, it came out around the time of the ColecoVision, if I remember right.
Yeah, it was kind of between generations. It was in a weird, it was a weird spot. It was, let's see,
because I want to say it was right before the Famicom.
It was in
released.
Japan. Came out in '83.
Yeah,
and
it was
then
right around the same time as the Famicom.
Yeah,
which over here would have been around the same time, give or take, as ColecoVision. I think it's a year after ColecoVision.
Yeah.
And no, it was the same year as ColecoVision. No, it was a year after.
Yeah.
My bad. So yeah, it's hard to say because it wasn't really all that much more advanced than ColecoVision.
Yeah.
So it would have had to have been a marketing thing.
It would have had to have been. I know almost nothing about the SG-1000 or its successive, the whatever, the 3000 and the 2.
The Mark III is just the Master System.
Yeah, it is of that like pre-Famicom era of consoles that I just don't. I don't care for very much. You know, there was a lot of good SG-1000 games. Now, the SG-1000 didn't come out in North America at all, did
No,
it?
no,
It was
it did
not
not.
released here. So I guess maybe...
Oh, I'm sorry. It is not pre-Famicom. It was released the exact same day as the Famicom.
Oh my God. So I think number one, you could have got it to market maybe a year earlier.
Mhm.
You know, I think the Famicom still would have stomped it, but you know, if it was
Well,
out
the thing
earlier,
is, if they had released internationally on day one instead of just in Japan,
yeah,
then there is a chance that it could have already gained some traction over here before Nintendo came over here.
yeah, that's true. And I think there was a space for it, and because the NES came out here in what 85, 86?
85.
So
Late 85.
they
and that was
they could have had some
limited
time.
markets too.
You know, they could have had some time on it. They would have been kind of the only game in town because the market had shit the bed over here.
Yeah, and Sega did release the SG-1000 in Australia.
Yeah, of
in
all
83.
places. Yeah, specifically only Australia. I think one of the later ones got a Taiwan release, but
Yeah, presumably over in Australia it was known as the Sega SG-1000.
Sega 1000. Yeah.
And it Sega did do better in Australia than they did over here in North America for a number of years. So maybe that was the push that they needed. Maybe if they had gotten it out over here.
And this kind of dovetails into the Master System because I do think if they had maybe got even released in North America, I mean, if they, I like, here's the thing. I think if the SG-1000 comes out in North America, and I don't know if it came out in 84, a year after Japan, that's still a year before the NES. I still think it would have sunk. NES would have crushed any opposition, and kind of did, at least in our market. But I think it would have given Sega maybe a little bit more clout in the video game market, such that they could push the Master System more here in America.
Yeah, if they'd had just a little bit more name recognition. Because, I mean, Sega of America was a thing already. They were putting out games on the Atari in the early 80s.
Yeah.
And Sega was also a huge name in arcades already. And they were not just releasing their own arcade games, they were translating other people's arcade games for release in North America. So it's not like they didn't already have a presence. They just weren't using that presence to try to build a home console market until the Master System.
Yeah.
And they kind of half-assed that by just outsourcing it to Tonka for a couple of years.
Yeah. Let's talk Sega Mark II, the Master System.
That's Mark III.
Sega Mark III, pardon me. Sega Mark III, the Master System. It came out in North America in 1986. This is a year after the NES. Well, I mean, the NES was kind of rolling. It was a rolling release.
Yeah, so it was still only in select markets at that time.
So I think strategically, if they had hit the American market and intentionally done like big distribution, nationwide release, hit market, because you could have still hit a lot of markets before Nintendo even got there.
Yeah.
If you did a big wide release instead of these little test markets.
Right.
But the question is, what could the Master System have done to stack up software-wise against the NES? Because I think that's what it's going to boil down to here with this comparison.
I think if they had more aggressively gone after the third parties, and given them easier dev kits or cheaper dev kits, or they had just announced that they would help those third parties market their games in North America before Nintendo had locked them all in, we could have seen something different.
I think if they hadn't banked on Alex Kidd as their sort of go-to
for so long.
Yeah, because there's like 3 or 4 of those.
And
I don't want to shit on Alex Kidd fans. I know there's probably a lot of them in Australia, but
and Europe and Brazil.
They suck.
They kind of bad games.
They're bad. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, you guys. They're bad games. They're not good games. I was trying to look at Sega developed games on the Master System to see like, is there
a lot of arcade ports?
It is a lot of arcade ports. You know, you got your
Phantasy Star.
Yeah. They published some stuff like there's Alien Syndrome. Altered Beast was on Master System. So I do think they could have pushed Phantasy Star a little harder. I think what we learned in the North American market with like Zelda and Final Fantasy and stuff is that there was an appetite for sort of these deeper fantasy adventure games. And I really think that Phantasy Star could have been a bit more of a success here.
Yeah.
If
the console itself had been a success.
And I also think that Phantasy Star, because I was recently playing Phantasy Star 1, and much like Phantasy Star 2, it's just a much more mature feeling story than like Final Fantasy or
Right.
I want to say Zelda, but Zelda doesn't really have a ton of story other
Doesn't
than
have much of a story at that point. Yeah, no.
Dangerous to Go Alone, goodbye. Um,
Yeah.
but it's a pretty it's a compared to other 8-bit console games at the time. I mean, it's got nothing on PC games, but what did?
Right.
But other NES adventure games at the time, like this was emotionally
Oh,
deep.
yeah, a little darker. Yeah.
It was dark. It was
Yeah.
it was man. It had a lot going for it, and I think they could have really
Yeah.
pushed it harder here.
Yeah, when the Master System originally came out in North America, it had the multi-cart that was Hang On and Safari Hunt,
Mhm.
which I think they were trying to pitch it as arcade at home console,
Yeah.
which also was how they pitched the Genesis when it first came out. Was it's the you can play arcade games but at home console,
Yeah.
which in theory was a good marketing point because arcades were doing way better than home consoles were. I just think they needed to have had some more console-centric experiences ready for launch.
Yeah.
And that's something that Nintendo did have by the time that it released in North America, mostly with Super Mario Brothers and not much of anything else. But
Yeah.
that's just a Sega. If Sega had pivoted to that earlier,
Mhm.
they could have had a grip on the market before Nintendo dominated.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think it would have been tough, but I think the opportunity could have been there if they
Absolutely.
were just a little bit more aggressive with it.
Yeah.
So and these really the SG-1000 and the Master System for me are kind of they're the consoles of like, yeah, I don't know that they could have even if they made the right choices, because in that era, in that mid 80s to late 80s era and the early 90s, Nintendo was so dominant in the market that
I think the Master System definitely could have had they
really.
pushed earlier than Nintendo and gotten some of the third-party games because hardware-wise, it is more powerful than a NES.
What do you think they could have done to compete with the Robot? Because the Nintendo came with a Robot, and that was attributed to a lot of its early success.
Well, the Master System in North America anyway came with a gun, just like the
Right? A
NES
very
did.
realistic looking gun.
Yeah, and also, well, no, because it had like a laser zapper thing in North America.
Oh, yeah, it did, didn't it? That weird looking
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it also had available for it early on. It didn't come with it, but available early on was the VR headset.
Oh, yeah, the 3D glasses thing.
Mm-hmm. And if they had pushed that heavier, I could have seen that getting the same kind of attention that the robot did.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, by the time that either one of them would have had a chance to be successful, those were seen as gimmicks and ignored.
Yeah.
I think that the bigger thing Sega would have needed to do was have more console-centric games early on, and more importantly, have more third-party support. Because if we had seen things like Mega Man or Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy on Master System instead of on Nintendo,
Yeah.
I think the market could have just migrated over to that.
Yeah. I think if they had done, because like Phantasy Star came out in 87. I think if they had done a couple bundles, like here's like an arcade bundle with like I don't know what arcade games, Afterburner was on it, Alien Syndrome, that kind of stuff.
Fantasy Zone.
And then maybe an adventure bundle with like Phantasy Star and then something else. And because I mean this was the era, the 8-bit era, where kind of weirdly reflective of the Wii in a way, where a lot of people would buy a Nintendo and just have Zelda or Zelda and Mario, and like they would. It was
a lot of people just had Mario Duck Hunt, and that was it.
Yeah, it was this thing. It was like a toy or an appliance. They bought it and they had the one thing, and that was it, and that was all they played. And I think Sega could have sold to those people, more effectively, because Nintendo was not big on. They did the action set and they did the robot and all that, but then they didn't really do any fancy package versions, of the NES specifically.
Yeah, it was pretty much just the version that came with Mario Duck Hunt, and then later with Mario Duck Hunt and World Class Track Meet.
Yeah, and I think a year later that package is boring. And if Sega's coming in like, hey, here's our adventure Master System set, here's our arcade Master System set. I think they could have had two or three SKUs, the plane and then a couple packages. And I think that could have pushed it for at least the people that are like, yeah, I bought a Nintendo and I have Zelda, and that's all that I didn't even know it comes out. I just stuffed it in there and it lives there. Let's talk the first of the big ones, because there's some big ones. Let's talk Genesis.
Yeah, because that was the closest they got to actually winning.
So I want to talk about the situation that I want to paint, and then we can go back and paint it a different way if we want. But in my head, what I imagine, this was my inspiration for the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So holiday 1992, the SNES comes out in North America.
So a year later than it did in real life.
Never mind, 1991.
It came out summer of 91 in the U.S.
Genesis had like a 2-year head start.
Yep. So it came out in 89.
And in my head, I'm imagining those couple holiday seasons they win, they keep winning them. And after consumer concern because there was a decent amount of consumer concern of people that are like, what do you mean the Super Nintendo doesn't play Nintendo tapes?
Right, yeah.
I got all these Nintendo tapes and the Super Nintendo doesn't play Nintendo tapes?
Which we'd already gone through with the Atari 5200.
Sure.
But nobody remembers these lessons.
Mounting sales for the Genesis 2, Sonic 2 would eventually be leading the way, and successful marketing. The Genesis did have good marketing. The scenario I'm imagining is, and
people don't always remember, but the Genesis was outselling the Super Nintendo by a considerable margin until I think Star Fox, or it was either Star Fox or Donkey Kong Country was when it finally pushed over Genesis in North America.
It was like 2 holiday seasons in a row, I think.
Oh yeah.
So in my head, the situation I'm imagining, this all happens, and Nintendo gets cold feet. They're nervous about consumer sentiment. They see Sega pushing really hard, and they pull out of the U.S. market. They focus on Japan.
Yeah, or at least diminish their presence in the U.S. market.
Right. What does that look like? What does that do to the market? How do things change? How does the trajectory alter of the games industry?
So the things that I think Sega could have done in that microcosm of a moment to have kept their momentum is one, don't release the 32X. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Two, maybe instead of such a heavy push on the Sega CD, which they had, maybe push more towards cartridges with custom chips in them, like Nintendo had done.
Sure.
And Sega eventually did with the Virtual Racing cartridge, which really is something the Genesis never should have been able to do.
Yeah.
And that is a incredibly impressive port. If Sega had done that and also secured more third parties again, I do think that there was a chance they easily could have kept their momentum and kept their lead over Nintendo for the rest of that generation.
Yeah.
And if that happens, that gives them a solid lead going into the next generation, and could have been continued momentum for the Saturn or whatever they would have done afterwards.
I guess because Sega kind of fell prey to this sort of multimedia craze.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were trying to do 2 things. They're trying to compete with Nintendo directly, head to head, and also beat out like the one of these weird FMV consoles. And they wanted
the CDI and the 3DO.
They wanted it. They wanted to do it. They wanted both of them. And I'm imagining they beat out Nintendo, and then they are now just top dog for people that are like, I just want a regular video game.
Yeah.
How do you think that changes anything? What do you think?
So if Sega had that momentum going into the 32-bit era, I think a lot of people would have defaulted to Saturn instead of looking at the landscape so much and saying, well, do I go Saturn or PlayStation or Nintendo 64?
Yeah.
And they might have just said, well, I've been on Sega already. I'll just stay with Sega and just transition naturally to the Saturn, which would have given it a little more leverage over the PlayStation and that console war.
Do you think the fabled, now confirmed, I believe, Neptune would have made any difference in the market, or do you think that was too little too late? Or
I think pushing towards that 32X in general was hurting their brand image, because it was just diluting what customers saw. They were like, well, which Sega do I get?
Yeah.
Do I have to get all of these
right
at the same time? And I think that was a concern. I think if they had just stayed with the Genesis or Mega Drive specifically, and just focused because they did have that push for a little while of getting third party publishers, and they got a ton of them at once, notably Capcom and Acclaim, who put a ton of stuff on the Genesis and pulled some audience from the Super NES.
Yeah.
And if they had continued doing that with some other developers, I mean, we already knew that like Square at the time was upset at the lack of Super NES CD-ROM, and they were looking elsewhere. If Sega had courted them better and other such developers and been like, hey, we already have the Sega CD, our next console will be CD, let us help you make this transition.
Yeah.
I think that if we had seen some of those developers jump ship to the Genesis late in its life cycle, that could have been a nail in the coffin of the Super NES.
Yeah. Yeah. I had something. What was it? It was oh, let's presume Sega wins. Nintendo's in the market for a year, maybe year and a half, and they're like, Super Nintendo's not doing it. They exit. And Sega is now the, you know, in air quotes, gamer console. It's the one that's not trying to do a bunch of FMV shit and multimedia shit. It's affordable. They drop the 32X. What do you think?
Or never release it.
How do you think JRPGs would have evolved differently as a genre in America with Genesis leading the way? Do you think Final Fantasy would have just been on Genesis, or would it have,
It's hard to say because if we're only talking the North American market, then I'm not sure much would have happened.
Really?
I think we would have seen Lunar and Phantasy Star, and that's about it, because I don't think the Japanese developers would have changed platform for only an American release. They would have just continued to focus on their Japanese market, because we did see that with things on the PC Engine, where the companies that had invested heavily in TurboGrafx and PC Engine in Japan, they didn't just port their games over to another console. They just said, well, I don't need the American market.
Right.
And I think that's how we would have seen it if this is only a North American phenomena where they take off. However, if this had been an international thing where in both Japan and the US, Sega was outselling the Super NES, then I do think we would have seen companies maybe pivot towards the Sega CD and the Genesis later in the console.
I'm just imagining like Final Fantasy 3 music on a Genesis sound chip.
So I think that if that had happened, it would have been on Sega CD. Because Secret of Mana was very nearly a Super NES CD game. Most of its development was on Super NES CD. Square wanted CD-ROM. They wanted to pivot all their production to CD-ROM 100%. And when Final Fantasy VI started development, it was started on CD-ROM until Nintendo canceled the CD-ROM add-on. And so if they had pivoted towards Sega, I think 100% they would have pivoted towards the Sega CD and just ignored cartridge.
So do you think, one, let's say Sega drops the 32X, they keep it, you know, it's international, and they you know, Square Enix releases Final Fantasy on the Sega CD, or what, you know,
Square, not Square.
Yeah, pardon me. Square releases Final Fantasy on the Sega CD, you know, Secret of Mana on the Sega CD. Do you think, because now Nintendo's out, do you think that means going into the Saturn, I guess we can transition to that maybe in this imaginary scenario, this very long, but what if this also happened then scenario, do you think we could have ended up in a world where the PlayStation kind of sank a little bit and the Saturn became the sort of, you know, JRPG console du jour?
Yeah, if they had seen success on Sega CD and Genesis, I absolutely think they could have transitioned from there to Saturn, and we wouldn't have seen PlayStation make as big of an impact. It also depends on what other third parties follow Sony over to the PlayStation, because a lot of the companies did go to PlayStation because they saw it as a successor to the Super Famicom.
Yeah.
And if Super Famicom is also failing, I think that maybe they could have transitioned to Saturn instead of to PlayStation. So, I think it would have affected all of that.
Yeah. Let's rewind a bit, because we grabbed a little thread and we peeled it all the way out
Right,
this
yeah.
conclusion where now I'm imagining Final Fantasy VII on the Saturn and what that would
Yeah.
look like,
Right.
and how much butt that would look like.
Well, you instead of Barrett, you would have had Sega de Sancho.
Right, obviously. You
in
know,
your
I'd
party,
take
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I like
think
that.
that's okay.
Let's back up.
Uh-huh.
We talked 32X. We talked
Yeah.
Sega CD. I guess we're kind of
Yeah.
into the Saturn. Unless
Yeah.
you had more Genesis stuff you wanted to postulate about.
No, I think that's I think that's the trajectory that they would have had to have gone, in my view anyway.
Yeah.
That they would have had to have gone to win the 16-bit war. I do think it's a more interesting conversation as to how they could have won the 32-bit war without having anything changed in the 16-bit war.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the Saturn.
Yeah.
And realistically, they're kind of competing against the PlayStation here. It's no longer Nintendo
Yes.
is really the
Right.
head-to-head.
Yeah,
It is the
because
Saturn versus
N64
the
came out
PlayStation.
2 years after those other two.
Oh yeah, and it was very much treated I feel like this was sort of the earliest point where everyone was like, well, Nintendo's doing their own Nintendo thing over there.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of become the default mode where everyone goes, yeah, well, Nintendo's not in the race. They're doing their Nintendo thing over there.
It took a few years for people to get into that
Right,
mindset
yeah.
with the
Because we didn't want to admit
N64
it.
though.
We were like,
Yeah.
no, they're just as good.
Yeah, I would say almost until the release of the PS2, everybody was
Yeah.
treating the N64 as if it was a viable alternative to the PlayStation. And then after the PS2 released, everybody was like, well, yeah, the N64 was kind of its own thing.
So, let's talk Sega Saturn then.
Yes.
So we'll say everything happened just like it did in regular life, all the way up to the Saturn. The Genesis, 32X, Sega CD happened. Nintendo's doing really good. PlayStation's, very exciting to everyone in the market. And how do you think they could have done the Saturn differently and beaten PlayStation with it?
So
Obviously, I think the first thing is don't fucking surprise announce a fucking console.
yeah,
What are
So,
you doing?
two paths I think could have happened
Okay.
here. One, if they had actually taken the deal with Sony, because there was that option during the 16-bit era. Sony had approached Sega and said, "Hey, do you want to work with us on a CD-ROM platform?"
Yeah.
And if instead of them saying no, if they had accepted the deal and the successor to the Genesis Mega Drive was not the Saturn, but instead the combined Sony, Sega, PlayStation Saturn,
Yeah.
that would have been just a game changer.
Oh, yeah.
I think that handily would have controlled the market, and it would have given Sega just major clout. And I don't know that Sony would have ever entered the console war at that point. They would have just continued their partnership with Sega until they eventually got bored of video games and went back to electronics.
Yeah. I don't know. I could see them still trying to eject Sega and do the PS2 on their own. I don't think it would be
Possibly.
successful, but I feel like I could see Sony doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another scenario. We just don't know what path it would have taken.
Right.
But it would have drastically changed everything.
Yeah.
It would have been a very different scenario. The other option, how would they have beaten PlayStation?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a more difficult conversation.
I mean, so from where I'm sitting, one, don't fucking surprise announce a console. Consoles are things
Yeah.
people need to plan to
Don't
buy.
release the 32X.
Yeah, skip the 32X.
Yeah.
Even with the state that the Sega CD was in, I would say skip that and put that effort into the Saturn. Announce the.
Well, Sega CD was so early though.
I guess, yeah.
It had been on the market for 4 years by the time the Saturn and PlayStation came out.
So I think announce it early, let people know
Yeah.
about it, talk about development, and then for me,
Well, I mean, they had announced the Saturn years before they had released it.
sure.
The problem was they had announced it as coming out that fall,
And then they
and
lied.
then they randomly said, "Surprise is available today."
Yeah, give us a
And-
date. Let us plan on it. Give us a price.
Yeah.
Let us save our
Let-
pennies.
Let retailers prepare for it, if nothing else.
And then my issue with the Saturn is one, the Saturn has a great library
Mhm.
in everywhere but North America.
Correct, yeah.
We got some okay games. There's a few gems
Yeah.
in there. Real
Oh yeah, we
good
got some
stuff.
great games.
But I think Sega needed to put more effort forth into getting North American versions of games for it to have any
Yes.
chance. And
Yeah, and also they needed to be more aggressive with the third parties like Sony was, because Sony was basically bribing third parties
Yeah.
to devote to the PlayStation and make things exclusive.
Yeah.
And Sega didn't seem to be willing to do that.
Yeah. It's frustrating. I think Sega also had this weird focus on 3D games in America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I like...
Which Sony did too early on.
They did. And at the time, I get it. But that seemed to be what they decided they didn't care about coming out here.
Well, it also, the hardware-wise on the Saturn, there were some questionable decisions. Because early on, they thought it was going to be their powerhouse 2D console.
Yes.
And then late in development, they were like, just kidding, this needs to be our powerhouse 3D console.
Yeah.
And rather than starting over, they were just like, let's just add more chips to it.
Do you think there's a world in which the Saturn could have had any success billing itself as the ultimate 2D console, the Super Nintendo of your dreams, which I think it kind of is and does that handily?
Yeah.
And then coming out with some kind of like 3D accelerator add-on for it.
It's hard to say because the market at that moment in time was so thirsty for 3D games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were people like me who weren't.
Sure.
But we were the weirdos.
Yeah.
The market as a whole was anxious for... They thought that Virtua Fighter was the sexiest thing in the world.
God.
They're wrong. But that was the prevailing wisdom at the time.
Yeah.
So it's hard to imagine that they make that pitch and succeed, because there were already other platforms at the time making that pitch. Because the Jaguar and the Neo Geo were already incredible 2D platforms.
Right.
So I don't know how they make that as a pitch and succeed at that time. Now the hardware handles it.
Yeah.
I just don't know if that's the marketing approach they would have had to take.
All right, let me pitch this to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Sonic Extreme comes out. It's not canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it can turn the tide?
It depends on if it's the game that it was, because if so, no. The answer is no.
Let's say it came out and it did end up being a good, let's say it's like Sonic Adventure level Sonic game.
If they had been able to put out a game that was Sonic Adventure caliber in 96, then yes, I think that could have made a change. If they had done it in 97 after Mario 64, I think it would have been seen as an also-ran.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think that they needed to have a good Sonic game on Saturn. They needed it early. If they had it in 95 or 96, yeah, I think it could have made a change. But Sonic 3D Blast was not it, guys.
Yeah.
That was not the answer.
That was tough. When did the Saturn get yanked out of the market? Was it or out of the North American
98
market?
is when we last saw a North American release, and that was Magic Knight Ray Earth was the last one.
Oof, man.
It's a great game, by the way.
Yeah.
But it was a short console cycle, 95 to 98.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the Saturn. There's this little blip on the radar after the Saturn. Sega did this thing called the Dreamcast that had such a bad controller that nobody liked it.
Fuck you. You fuck right off back to Discord.
So aggressive.
Well, you know me.
Let's talk about the Dreamcast. I have some postulations. What do you think it looks like if PS2, the only difference, everything's just like real life, the only difference is PS2 does not have DVD support. They go, we're not going to do that shit.
That's... So...
Do you think that's enough?
I don't think so, because PS2 had PS1 compatibility.
True.
That was a huge selling point to a lot of people.
What if Dreamcast also played Saturn games?
I don't know that would have done it. I think if Dreamcast had come out when Dreamcast came out and played DVDs, that might have made the difference.
Oh, yeah.
Because then people would have invested in it before the PS2 came around.
Yeah.
As a DVD player and a Dreamcast player. I think that could have done
because they did that weird GD-ROM specification. Which was they were gigabyte discs. That was the
right.
G in GD-ROM.
Yep.
Which isn't that bigger than DVDs? Aren't how big?
No, DVDs are 4.7 gigabytes.
4.7? Man.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Um,
That's for a single layer DVD. A dual layer DVD is 8.5 gigabytes, if I remember right.
yeah. Yeah.
So I think if they had done DVD, that would have given them a fighting chance, because then they could have been the default DVD player like PS2 ended up being.
Yeah.
And also if they had, I'm not even sure if I would say marketing would have made a huge difference, because their early marketing was great.
It was great.
They were selling a ton of consoles until the second PS2 was announced.
Let me ask you this, because the PS2 when it came out, you got to keep in mind this is right at the turn of the millennium.
Oh, I was very invested in all of this.
It's turn of the millennium. Everything has to look like the Matrix.
Yep.
Everything has to be black and sleek and sexy. Do you think if the Dreamcast, instead of having this bright, colorful, fun, Sega marketing, went, everything's black and sleek and sexy and angular, made everything look like the Matrix, do you think that would have done anything?
So I hung out with a bunch, because I was well into high school when the Dreamcast came out.
Yeah.
And I was a senior in high school when the PS2 came out. So I was right in that age group.
Yeah.
I hung out with the edgelords who would have cared about that, right? And I never heard one of them complain that the Dreamcast was too kiddie.
Really?
Not once.
Really?
That was never even a concern. The only concern that anyone had was, but the PS2 can play PS1 games, and also Tekken Tag tournaments on PS2. That was the only things that I heard from that audience.
Yeah, I guess
at PS2 launch.
I guess that's the next question. Do you think any software could have saved the Dreamcast? Shenmue didn't do it.
No.
Do you think any specific software could have saved it?
If they had gotten a Final Fantasy, that could have made a big impact, because that was peak Final Fantasy in the West.
Yeah.
Was the PS1 era going into Dreamcast, because Dreamcast came out the same day Final Fantasy VIII did.
Yeah.
If it had come out with Final Fantasy VIII on the Dreamcast, I think that could have sold some consoles even here in North America.
For sure.
Other than that, I'm trying to think of software that really sold the PS2 early on, because one of the big games that one of my friends was super excited about it was Kinetica. No, it was Dead or Alive 2.
Yeah.
And I remember he was like so stoked about, because he had just gotten the PS2 launch and he was about to get Dead or Alive 2. And I remember I went to his house to play it when he got it, and I looked over and he had his Dreamcast sitting there, and he had already bought Dead or Alive 2 on Dreamcast. And I was like, dude, you already have this on Dreamcast. Why aren't we playing it on there? He's like, but it's on PS2 now.
Oh, no.
And so I don't know what the software would have needed to be, because even those games that people wanted early on PS2 were mostly either available on Dreamcast or something equivalent was on Dreamcast.
Yeah.
And Tekken Tag Tournament was the first one I remember where anybody was like, well, this is exclusive to PS2 and I need it.
Yeah.
And then Final Fantasy X eventually when that came out, and Metal Gear Solid 2. So maybe if MGS2 had been announced for Dreamcast, that could have made a change. Maybe if
I can't imagine what
Final
they would have had
Fantasy
to
had been
done
on
to
Dreamcast.
MGS2 to make it work on Dreamcast.
Put it on 5 discs.
Yeah, that would have worked.
I think it could have worked on the Dreamcast if it had been 5 discs. I don't think that it would have been that big of a challenge.
Yeah.
I think that it might have looked a little muddier or worse at certain points, but not so much that people would have made a giant deal out of it. Because Dreamcast hardware-wise wasn't that far off, graphically, from PS2 and Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, I think in retrospect, we remember it being more off because we were all excited about the new stuff.
I remember it being basically the same.
I don't. I remember being like, yeah, PS2 does look a little bit better.
Yeah, I never thought that. Like when you have a Dreamcast plugged in VGA.
Yeah. Oh, now hold on. I was probably on an RF adapter. Probably went and bought an RF adapter for it.
Well, if you were running RF on PS2 and Dreamcast, it would have looked basically the same.
Well, I don't know.
Because when you look at games like games that are on both platforms, like Sonic Adventure, I would say the Dreamcast version looks better than the PS2 port.
Really?
The GameCube version probably looks a touch better.
Yeah, well, that's the DX or whatever. That's more of a
right. Well, that's the same thing on PS2 as the DX.
Oh yeah, I guess it was, wasn't it? Yeah, theirs was the DX version.
Yeah, and because graphically there were times when the Dreamcast could outperform the PS2.
Yeah.
It couldn't outperform the Xbox or GameCube, but it was comparable enough.
Yeah.
So I don't think graphically I don't think there was anything that the PS2 was putting out that the Dreamcast absolutely could not have handled until late in the PS2's life cycle.
Okay. Let's get wildly speculative. Let's get weird.
Yeah.
Sega drops the Dreamcast at a North American market, but they sold a good amount of them.
Yeah, they did.
And they're like, hey, we'll take our licks and we'll come back stronger. PS2, won, but we sold a good amount of. I mean, I feel like they couldn't have taken a loss on the Dreamcast. I mean, it sold pretty good for a little while there.
Are you talking about a scenario where they don't go third party?
I'm saying,
at this point?
What if they make a Dreamcast 2?
Do they? So in this scenario, they
All right.
didn't go third party.
No, they
right?
didn't go third party, and they
Okay.
went, all right, we're going to pull back for a year. We're going to let the PlayStation 2 play out for a little bit, see what everybody else is cooking up, and then we're going to make a Dreamcast 2. What is the Dreamcast 2, and how badly does it mean the Xbox now sucks a lot more because it kind of was the Dreamcast 2?
So yeah, this would have hurt Xbox pretty hard because their big third party partner early on was Sega.
Oh, yeah.
And if they don't have Sega, they are making even less impact in Japan. And it would have just been dead or alive in Japan. That would have been like their only game over there.
Yeah.
And in North America, they probably would have done okay still because they would have had Halo.
Yeah, that's true.
So here's how I think Dreamcast 2 has any impact whatsoever.
Okay.
It's not called Dreamcast 2.
Oh, no.
It's called Dreamcast HD.
Oh, my God.
And it releases in 04.
Uh-huh.
And it is compatible with HD televisions.
Oh, so you think beating everyone in the HD market?
Yeah, if they had made it to at least 720p, if not 1080i,
Yeah.
and they had done it a year before Xbox 360, I think that's their fighting chance.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Because I mean, that's kind of the same thing. Sony did with the PS2, where Xbox did too. Yeah, but Sony was like, hey, here's the next tech everyone's already going to be excited about.
Right.
We put it in early. Oh yeah.
And then Microsoft did the same thing with the Xbox 360. They were like, oh, well, now we're in proper HD. Like the original Xbox, it could output 1080i, but the games weren't made for it. But now, games that are in HD.
I think.
And if Sega had done it a year before Microsoft, because one, they would have already had a presence in Japan, because the Dreamcast was still kind of selling there. Not well, but it still had some games coming out around that point. So if they had put it out there, Japanese devs would have been like, oh, we can make HD games. And they could have started work on them already on Dreamcast's successor.
Yeah.
And so by the time they released it in North America, it would have been the only real HD console.
I think Dreamcast HD with DVD capabilities in 2004. And I think also if they had launched it with some HD ports of notable Dreamcast games, along with some, just to have an existing catalog, or maybe it just already plays Dreamcast games. Presumably
I think playing Dreamcast games would have been good. That would have also given them an opportunity to release some of those Dreamcast games that released in Japan and nowhere else late in the system's life cycle. They could have bundled those together as launch titles for a Dreamcast successor.
What do you think the price point for Dreamcast HD would be?
I think at that point they would have had to have done $299. Which is also the release price of the 360.
Yeah. $299 with HD, backward compatible, and DVD playback. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I would love to see
basically a 360 at that point.
And then the VMU will be color with a backlit screen and a rechargeable battery.
Yeah, perfect.
And then I can load my Tamagotchi games onto it. And it'll be the greatest. I'll be so excited.
It would have basically been an Xbox 360 controller as well, since that's basically a Dreamcast controller
Pretty
with
much.
a second analog stick.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, some
extra shoulder buttons, and there
you
go.
Yeah, the shoulder buttons, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, also, the Dreamcast was, it was very internet forward. And at the time, it was known for being very internet forward. That was kind of their thing. I think they didn't.
the dial-up modem right in the console.
I think they didn't peel enough, internet focused PC gamers away to make it enough of a difference.
No.
But I think they could go into the HD era already being in HD and being known as kind of the online system.
And by that point, they would have already seen what Xbox Live was.
Yep.
They would have already seen Sony kind of, fumbling at trying to be online. And I don't think Sega or Nintendo rather would have even had an online component, because the only online games on the GameCube were PSO.
Yeah.
And without Sega there, I don't think they would have even had that. So I don't think there would have been an online component to the GameCube.
We would have had Sega Channel HD. I don't know what else they would call their online service.
Right.
Sega MegaNet 2.
It probably just would have been SegaNet, which was what they were calling it on Dreamcast.
Yeah, probably. Probably just keep that. I like this. I would have bought one of those. That would have been exciting.
I think that would have been their pitch if they had not just shied away from the market entirely.
Yeah.
And I think that could have it definitely would have been more interesting than what we got.
Oh,
because when we got the HD consoles with Xbox and PS3 and kind of with the Wii, they were all they were so focused on the high definition multimedia experience.
Yeah.
And we weren't seeing so much of just here's some more games.
Yeah.
Because and the games, granted, there were plenty of games in that era.
Sure.
But
yeah.
But it was a lot of gray-brown shooters that were appealing entirely to the Western market. I have to think that if Sega had beat them to the punch, we would have seen more Eastern-developed, Japanese-developed games. So we would have seen more of the Japanese-style games in HD early on, and we wouldn't have seen that hard pivot towards Western-style games.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my theory, anyway.
Panzer Dragoon Orta only on the Dreamcast HD.
Yeah.
Would have been great.
And Jet Set Radio Future.
Jet Set Radio
and
Future.
Fantasy Star Online.
What else do you want to cover speculatively?
So one of the so a couple of speculative things that I had put in here earlier on. When Sega first released the SG-1000 in Japan, they were owned by Gulf Western, who was also the parent company of Paramount Pictures.
Mm-hmm.
If they had taken video games seriously at that time, instead of just letting their Japanese child company do whatever the fuck it wanted to do over there in Japan, I'm curious how that would have made things different. Because we could have seen a lot more movie tie-in games in the early 80s. And it's not like Paramount wasn't putting out good movies. They had Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Could you imagine a world where Paramount taking video games seriously makes it such that we don't think of movie tie-in games as always being sloppy
trash,
cash-in garbage?
Right. And also, there is a world where Sega releases the SG-1000 in Japan, and simultaneously the SG-1000 is released in North America, but it's called the Paramount SG-1000.
Yeah.
Because they have the same parent company,
Sure.
just don't use the Sega name in North America. People know the Paramount name. Would that extra name recognition have gotten more of the olds to pay attention?
Maybe. I think at the very least, just by the name would have tied movies to video games much more closely, much earlier, and really kind of changed, I think, a lot of the trajectory.
Yeah, it could have given more legitimacy to the video game industry, because this is this storied company that's been around. Yeah. Who's putting their weight into it.
Oh, for people listening in the future, there used to be people that made movies that weren't Disney. This is before Disney owned literally every movie ever made. So,
I don't know. Paramount is pretty fucking big right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Bigger now than they've been in a little bit. They sounded like they were dying for a little while there. Now that's less likely. The other hypothetical that I want to shoot out there: what if Miyamoto had been hired by Sega instead of Nintendo?
Oh, I like this. It makes me wonder how much of Sega's design DNA would have been warped around Miyamoto. And I mean, granted, Miyamoto was one of many visionaries.
Right.
But he does bring a distinct flavor, especially to the NES era.
It also would have answered the question of, is Mario Miyamoto, or was Miyamoto influenced by all the other visionaries around him at Nintendo?
It would have been really interesting. Could you imagine? Master System comes out, and there's a Miyamoto-led Alex Kidd game as the pack-in.
Yeah, would it have been a good game?
I mean,
weird.
I don't know.
Imagine Alex Kidd is a good game.
He would have been
I
talking
just
about rock, paper, scissors all day long and chain smoking.
yeah, talking about trees.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
it's
like that. I could see that. I could see, his DNA, kind of mixing with, the Sega's design
yeah,
DNA really changing and being
right.
more Nintendo-like.
Yeah,
But
because
then,
Sega was very arcade focused. If they had just a couple of people earlier on who could have made that console style experience, which is one of the things that Miyamoto is credited for early in Nintendo,
yeah,
that could have made a big difference in what platforms we would remember as
I
fondly.
mean, the NES without Mario and Zelda,
Yeah,
or at least without Mario and Zelda as,
as we
Miyamoto,
know them. Yeah.
as we know them, that changes so much.
Yeah.
That's megaton
Yeah.
differences. So I don't know. That would have been really interesting.
Yeah.
Really interesting. What else you got on your list?
Um. Let's see. I think that's the big ones. I think that's the
big ones?
important ones.
All right.
Well, okay. One other
One more.
counterfactual here. So what if the home game console industry just never came back in North America and we all pivoted to arcades? Would
Oh,
a Sega as an arcade publisher been strong enough to continue to lead arcades?
because Sega was
in that
strong in
scenario?
arcades.
Oh yeah,
That was
yeah.
their thing.
But do you think they could have become the de facto strongest? Because at the time, I think it's safe to say that the strongest at that moment was probably Namco,
Yeah, true.
which actually technically over here would have been Midway because Midway had licensed a bunch of Namco's games.
Yeah.
So could Sega have taken the crown in that scenario?
Oof. I mean, could they have? Maybe. Question is, how?
Yeah, and really, there so much would change in that scenario that it's hard to
It's
even
hard to even-
imagine.
For sure.
And I mean, we still probably would have gotten home ports on computers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
we still probably
it's
gotten a
just-
good amount of consolidation. Really, what I see happening is if the
Mhm.
home market dies, Sega probably has a good couple years, does some innovative stuff, and then after the fighting game revival in the early 90s, arcades just die.
Yeah.
Right along with them.
Or the Neo Geo just takes over the world at that point
Oh, there you go.
because it's the one console / arcade
Only
machine.
one left.
So when the arcades are the place where everybody goes, and you got this one machine that's accurate arcade games that you can take home, you just have to go with Neo Geo. And now suddenly we accidentally made SNK one.
Right. At the end of the day, Metal Slug was always going to win. This was our
Yeah.
secret ploy to get you to listen to an hour of speculation before we just go, no, it was the Neo Geo the whole time.
Yeah.
I did realize, looking up stuff for this, that
Mhm.
Sega owns Angry Birds now.
Yeah. They bought Rovio a few years back.
And now I'm like, oh, could they take the market by storm with Angry Birds? Although that's just the millennial in me. Angry Birds is old news. It's like 15 years
Yeah.
old, man. It's old shit.
Oh yeah.
Shit. Final thoughts. This is fun. I'm like mentally excited for the Dreamcast HD, and it doesn't exist, so I'm a little upset about that. But
Yeah.
other than that, this was fun. I like doing this.
Yeah.
And it's it's
I remember
interesting.
being so sad when they canceled the Dreamcast. Not because I was particularly excited about the Dreamcast, because I did like my Dreamcast. I had a Dreamcast. I already had a PS2 at that point, or at least I was about to get a PS2. I don't remember exactly when the cancellation announcement was made, but either way, I wasn't super sad about the Dreamcast itself. I was sad about whatever the future of Sega was going to be, because they had such a weird trajectory at that moment in time, because they were releasing their consoles earlier than everybody else. And I was like, but if I could see whatever Sega releases next, that would tell me what Sony would release after that. And so, yeah, I was so sad.
You know what we didn't even talk about? The Game Gear.
There's good reason for that.
The question is, how does the Game Gear beat the Game Boy? And I'm like, I don't know how. I just don't.
Game Boy doesn't exist. That's the only way that it would happen.
I think the only way the
mm.
Game Gear wins is if they fucked up the Game Boy.
Yeah, if Game Boy had really failed or just never released, I wonder if its void would have been filled by a Turbo Express instead of a Game Gear.
Yeah, something like that.
Because Turbo Express could play console games.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that on a Sega until the Nomad.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What if in this imaginary future, all systems went handheld in the 90s and then Justin was happy forever?
You'd be hosting the show with somebody else because I'd be out there whining about how there aren't any consoles anymore.
Well, you can instead whine about that we have a Patreon.
Oh, first,
Uh-huh.
the after
Oh
party.
yeah, Guy's here.
Guy's
He's gonna be
gonna
here
be
at after the end of the show.
Yes.
What he's gonna do? He'll be here.
Yes.
He left in the middle of it because his power went out, but he's back.
Oh,
Back
was
now.
that, I saw that his name disappeared for a second. I was worried.
I thought he was like, oh, I'm gonna go to bed and forgot he was on the after party.
Right.
And I messaged him like, oh, are you coming back? And he's like, yeah, my power went out.
Oh, that sucks.
Anyway, we have Patreon, patreon.com/Retro Warriors. We would love for you to hang out with us there. We don't have a Discord right now. Well, I mean, we do, but when you listen to this, we probably won't. But check the link tree, and wherever we land, you'll be able to find us there. We do have a Lemmy. I mean, people can go on Lemmy and post and talk to us. I mean, nobody posts on it, but I still check from time to time. It's there. It exists.
You can go to our IRC on Dalnet.
We don't have an IRC right now, but I did learn that Matrix has an IRC bridge, so I can force you all into IRC with me against your will. So, that's something.
Also, our channel wouldn't be on Dalnet.
Yeah,
Is Dalnet still around?
Dalnet's around. FNet's around. They're all still around, man. They're there.
Oh no, we just lost Guy again.
No, we may not be doing the after party if he's not here. We'll see momentarily.
We'll just splice it in. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You'll still hear it. It'll be there. It'll be fine. I'm sure.
We want to thank the following people, starting with Ross
and Burger Champ.
You guys.
Grover and Simba.
Blackened.
David D'Andrea.
Gassy.
D'Andrea. Craig C.
David Cavallari.
And JT Maverick.
They all gave us money. Thank you for the money. We like money. It is good.
That's nice.
And I'm going to talk about how good money is to see if Guy's coming back. I don't know. I don't see any messages. His power must have gone out again at the worst possible time.
The magic of radio will just come back to him.
Oh, he's back. Fine. Okay, so
there he is.
Anyway, stay tuned after the ending theme. Our producer guy is going to be here for the after party.
Definitely here.
He's definitely gonna be here the whole time.
He's not gonna cut out in the middle of it. It's fine.
It's gonna be great. I'm in my head. I'm like, what if he just left to fuck with us right here at the end to see if we vamp until he came back?
Nice, perfect.
Anyway,
we get to hear that too, as well as the regular after party.
Anyway, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week, and as always, let us cling together. Party with our producer Guy. Yay, Guy!
Yeah, you made it.
Yeah, I made it back.
Did you have
How's power?
Oh, wait, okay. So no, the dumber version was I was like, oh, I'm about to go on. Let me close Reddit, and I closed my whole browser.
Nice. Oh yeah,
no,
because you're doing this through the browser instead of an app like I am.
When you left the first time, I was like, he closed his fucking browser and shut down the video call.
No, man. The first time, the power went out for, I don't know, like 10 seconds or so.
Yeah.
And then it came back on, but I pressed the power button and nothing happened.
Oh no.
Like, oh shit. And I was like, well, maybe it's in that weird mode sometimes that it does where like if it cuts power and you hit the power button, you have to hit it twice for whatever reason. I don't know.
Weird.
But anyway.
It's like when you're trying to start a car that won't start and you're slamming on the accelerator. You got to like get extra gas in there. You got to shoot extra electricity into it so it turns.
That's
on.
not.
Yeah, that's it. That's how it works. Either. You can't convince me otherwise.
You fucking flood your engine. My first car was one that like didn't have a fuel injector.
Yeah.
So like, I had to like prime the engine.
Yeah.
Or the carburetor. It had a carburetor, right? Because it didn't have a fuel injector. So I had to like prime the carburetor with gas before starting the car.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole thing. I forgot about that till just this moment. I was talking about that truck earlier today too. It's funny. But anyway, so I was like, well, shit, it didn't turn back on after doing that. So I did the whole like sit there for a second thing, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I reached under, and I was like, turned off my power strip and turned it back on. Like maybe it like tripped the
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, nope, that didn't work. My fucking like subwoofer's still off, and my mic's off. What the fuck? So I went and looked in the closet, and the internet's off, and they're plugged into like two different outlets.
Yeah.
The power going out tripped exactly one breaker in this house.
It was yours.
Yeah.
You don't have a UPS on your computer? It's 2026, man. What are you doing?
Not spending money, I guess. I don't know.
I got a spare UPS.
Yeah,
I have like 8 UPSs, so you can
take
have
one of
one. If you
Saturn's,
want
man. I got one on my
All right, great.
upstairs computer stuff, and I got one on my living room TV, so my PlayStation doesn't lose my Cold Steel save.
Hey, speaking of Cold Steel, I finished another Trails game.
Oh, which one?
Trails.
Trails game. Yeah. Trails from Azure. Zero.
To Azure.
No.
From
they're
Zero
going
to
Azure.
Yes. No. I finished from Zero.
There you go. All right.
Nice.
Cool.
Very nice. I'm 22 hours into Cold Steel 2, and I'm just past Act 1.
So, Cold Steel 2 is a controversial one among fans.
Oh.
It is seen as not as good as a lot of the other ones. So,
I see.
if you're not liking it, that is a common perspective. I liked a lot of the plot bits in Cold Steel 2, so I didn't mind it. But it is there are some people who don't care for that one.
I wouldn't say I'm not liking it, but it could hurry the fuck up sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
20 hours is about time for part 1, so
That's true.
let's fucking go.
That's true. If all the other chapters are as long as the first one, then I'm going to be playing it for like 10 more months. Because there's 6 chapters?
I think something like that.
You were talking about this earlier, right? Like you were using a guide and trying not to miss anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take you for fucking ever.
Yeah.
I would stop doing that.
I kind of quit doing it a little bit. Now what I do is when I enter a town, I'll look at the missables list and go get those, and then just kind of not worry about it.
Fair.
So I guess I am still getting most things. But,
No, that's fine. Like the way you were going about it sounded like tedious.
Oh, that was tedious as fuck. Until I realized there's not really missables outside of the first time you enter town segments.
Yeah.
And so it's like the first time you enter a new area, I'm like, there are missables here. Get the missables.
Yeah.
And then once you got them, there's nothing else is missable. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And so I just kept assuming that everywhere I go stuff's going to be missable.
Man, starting Azure, I was like, okay, I'm going to do like all the things. I'm going to talk to everybody every day, try and find these missables on my own or whatever. And then like pick up all the cooking recipes. I know I got to like look out for those because there's like a cooking quest at the end of the first game, that you have to have collected like fucking everything
all the
up
recipes.
to that point.
Yeah.
But anyway, and like I was like, I'm going to scan shit, because it like gives you like 5 like scan items.
Yep.
To start with.
Yeah, they always start you with some so that you can get that.
Yeah, I missed exactly one monster in that fucking prologue area. I was so mad about it.
Oh.
I'm like, do I need to restart? I'm like 10 hours into it.
I think you can revisit that area. I don't remember though.
I hope so. I fucking hope so. It's way outside of town.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just reaching a point with myself where I'm like, do I care? Because I'm not going to platinum this game or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't give a shit. I don't even look at trophies. I don't know why I'm playing like this. I think in my head, what I'm worried about is I'm going to miss out on some good stuff later because
like character development or something.
Yeah.
So I will say the only major character development, important story beat that is missable in Cold Steel 2 is at the very end. And the only way to unlock it is New Game Plus. So
nope.
It requires an entire second playthrough. So what I would recommend is just play it normally and then look up that scene on YouTube. Yeah.
I might just drop the guide entirely, quit doing the missables, and just fire through the story and enjoy it and lay back and not fucking worry about it. But
that's the way to do it, man. Or at least that's the way I enjoy an RPG, right? Like, I'll try and get the stuff that's obvious, like the quests that they give you and shit. And do some of the sort of side stuff, but generally it's just like get me to the next story beat, please.
Yeah. And really, when I'm doing the missables, I just hold B through the story part of it because the missable side quests are like, I can't find my cat. And you're like, I don't, what? The
Some of
world
them-
is
Some
dying.
of them are pretty fucking funny.
There are Gundams running around killing people. I can't do this right now. Ridiculous.
All the side quests with Anton are worth it though. They are worth reading.
Guy, what do you
And,
actually
like-
have for us? Because we just kind of started talking about
yeah. I guess. Well, real quick. Last thing I was gonna say was like, I'm at a point like 5 games into it or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That there are characters that like were like fucking rando side characters in the first game.
Yep.
Yeah.
That are still rando side characters.
Yep.
They're just like on vacation in the area that I'm in or whatever.
Mostly Anton, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Yeah, he's great.
The more you play that series, the better it gets from
Yep.
a like that standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool. No, the story that I have for you, it's years in the making, and oh my god. Okay, so about a year ago, they started marking like the AT&T lines in the neighborhood, but like just on one street.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, well, maybe they're gonna like fucking finally put fiber in this goddamn neighborhood because you know my city's growing. There are areas that have fiber.
Sure.
You know, and it's between Fort Worth and Weatherford, so like all this is going to be like concrete within the next 10 years. You know, but that aside, I was kind of excited. I'm like, oh, I wonder what they're going to do. And at no point during any of this did it occur to me to just go to like the city's website and look at their projects and shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Where they tell you what's happening.
Right. So, you know, we've been speculating about what's going to happen. And like they paint these lines on it. Did they forget about this project? Like, what is happening here? Right. Well, they finally started. They finally started on this fucking project. And I thought they had done it because since they marked those lines, they like repaved the entire like neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like they came and stripped the whole old road out and put a brand ass new one in.
Right.
Mhm.
I thought that's why they did it. So then they went through about that same time last year, where right before they did the road, they came through and they chopped down like any trees or shrubs or whatever in like a straight line all the way down this road, right?
All right.
Like making room for something. And I thought they did that for the road. It's like so the equipment could get through, you know?
Uh-huh.
That's what made sense to me. But like it looks fucking awful. Like, because what they did essentially, like, imagine a full, what did I say? They're like 2 like full like spruce tree kind of things, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't have a long trunk. They're just like full like evergreen, and then like surrounding that are these like really like these evergreen bushes in this like sort of shape, and like it's
Sure.
really pretty, right?
They just cut them straight down the middle.
Straight
dog
down the
style?
fucking
Oh,
middle.
no.
Yeah. Out here
Yeah,
where I
those-
live, the county drives a tractor down the side of the road, and it's just a big saw, and it just shears off anything sticking into the road.
Yeah. That's
So,
how the
so
trees were in
everything
my
out here
pants
just
sound.
looks like sliced in half, like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yep.
Yeah, like they cut off a chunk of that hedge, and then like the spruce trees or whatever are like they cut off like a quarter of them,
Yep.
so you could like see into the underlying like branches and shit, and
Yeah.
then just everything died.
Of course.
We were talking about. I was like, I would be so fucking mad. What the fuck, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I guess if we get new roads, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so they finally started on this project this week, and they're like digging up from the road into the ditch a little bit. They're digging a trench,
Mhm.
and I finally saw a bulletin about what it is, and I got excited because they're putting in like sewer pipe. What I found out was I read this thing that said that the drainage project or sewer pipe project was starting in my neighborhood, and we're all on like what do you call them?
Septic.
Yes,
Yeah.
The
As
poo-
am I.
The poo tank,
Poo
right?
tank. Yeah.
So we're all on septic. I was like, oh, maybe they're finally hooking us up to the city sewer, because like I know that like we just a couple of years ago like built a new processing plant or whatever.
Yeah.
Right, with like extra capacity and shit. And that's what I thought the post said. It said the city, the town, one town over is doing a project in this neighborhood. I was like, wait, hold on, what? So I looked into it even more. to figure out what the fuck was going on.
And they're just running their poop line through your neighborhood?
Yes. And they are getting sewer service
Oh, how good for them.
and paying
fuck
my
you.
city to process their waste. And so all of this like fucking foliage and destruction is happening to pump the next town over shit through my neighborhood.
Nice.
No, here's what you do. You get a length of hose and you connect it from your septic tank into that big thing they just ran, and then you let them bury it, and then you got free sewer.
Perfect.
Oh yeah. Perfect.
It's great. Or you just go
Can't-
out
they
there
can't
and
possibly go wrong with a pressurized line.
Nope.
you just go out there and pull up a manhole and shit down into it, and then
Yeah.
you got your own sewer.
Yeah.
Put a little outhouse over top of it. Be great.
Oh man, the article was like, yeah, it's going to use a mixture of pumps and gravity. I was like, well, first off, that's how everything works. But second,
It's using gravity.
gravity is the giant ass hill that is my neighborhood.
Well, gravity's just a theory, so
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
yeah.
just
Okay. But yeah, no, that's my story.
that is stupid.
That sucks.
That does suck. What a bunch of shit. Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed. We don't have, so we barely have electricity out here. So I don't. A lot of people out here don't have water or internet. You know,
Yeah, like none of this is going through my yard, so like
It's something.
that's something. But like, yeah, I'd be so pissed if I was anybody on that other street.
right.
yeah, that's bullshit.
No, it's people shit.
Well,
I don't know how we can one up that line.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, at least you should because you're gonna have a sewer out there in the road. When you pump your septic tank, you could just pump it into there.
Yeah.
And if they say something, you just tell them shitter's full.
Perfect.
The universal
Do I have
law.
to be in my
shitter's full.
bathrobe at the time?
Yeah, in your
Yes.
bathrobe smoking a cigar. Shitter's full. I say that to my wife anytime anything is full. Ever. I'd be like filling up a water bottle and be like, shitter's full. Well, that's
Does your kid do that yet?
no, not yet. She will not swear. She refuses. She doesn't want to. It's bad, and she
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
like it.
I
Fair enough.
refused for many years.
She's
and then I
actually
just gave in.
mad at me
Mm.
because her cat. We were in the store, and I was like, "You should get him some catnip because that makes him like want to play and
Yeah.
stuff." Because she's a kid, and so she wants her animal to do the things she wants on command. She wants
Right,
him to
right.
play when she wants to play, and so. I was like, well, if you want him to play, get him some catnip, and then you can play with him. You can play his little feather toy or whatever. And one of the brands of catnip was called Meowawana, which
seen
of
that one,
course
yeah.
I thought was hysterical. And so I'm in the store the whole time, just like, you want to get him some Meowawana? I can't, I won't drop it. And she's getting legitimately upset. And we
Nice.
come home and she's got catnip, and I'm like, give him some catnip. She goes, I can't give him catnip. And I go, why? She goes, it's Meowawana. And I'm like, no, it's catnip. She goes, yeah, but it's like marijuana, and I don't want to think about him doing illegal drugs.
Oh no.
And I go, look, yeah, it's medicinally legal in Texas.
Yeah.
And so now she won't let him have catnip unless the next time I'm at the vet, I have the vet write a prescription for Meowawana so that he doesn't get, I don't know, arrested by the cat cops. I don't know what she thinks is going to happen.
I saw the Meowawana brand. The brand that my cat gets is Meowch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
pretty good. She gets real high.
Yeah. I didn't know this. Like a third of all cats are immune to catnip.
This is true. Yeah.
But if they're immune to catnip, then they are susceptible to some other plant, which is bizarre.
Yeah, my cat growing up was immune. He would just stare at me like I was an idiot when I'd pull out the catnip.
Very strange. Very strange. Guy, you got anything else for us?
No, that's about it. I just it's been a while since I've had a story
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I was
thanks
excited.
for producing
That's
the
good.
show.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
For
You're
answering
welcome
doing the after
for
party?
any kind of new consultation you need, sir.
Yeah, thank you for all the sequel questions you answered this morning when I was
Yeah.
learning databases.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I guess real quick, Saturn, like, he came into our D&D game yesterday and was like, hey, do y'all know anybody that knows like SQL and databases and shit? And I was like,
I was sitting here and everybody's like, no, and there's this rumbling undertone of everyone saying no, of someone going,
That's how you know someone knows SQL.
and after everyone finishes saying no, I was like, guys, is it you?
yeah, no, because it wasn't even does anyone know. He goes like, surely somebody in my life knows SQL.
Yeah, someone has to.
No,
Yeah, turns out you have a degree in SQL.
look at that.
You went to SQL College. Got a
SQL
bachelor's
University.
in sequeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the sequels of community college.
All right, now I don't know how we can top that one.
Well, then we have to go. We just have to go. Anyway,
All right.
Guy, thanks for producing the show. Everybody, thanks
Yeah.
for listening. We'll see you next week. Okay, bye.
All right, bye.